football's greatest tactical minds, a coach respected across the world, sitting helplessly on the touchline as the clock ticks into stoppage time. Across from him, a team from a tiny Atlantic island nation is celebrating every tackle, every clearance, every second that passes. A country of barely 500,000 people, a nation most football fans couldn't even locate on a map. And somehow, they are taking points away from two-time world champions Uruguay. That image perfectly captures the biggest surprise of the 2026 World Cup. And it might also be FIFA's worst nightmare, because FIFA created the conditions for this to happen. When FIFA expanded the World Cup from 32 teams to 48, the decision was sold as a victory. For global football, more nations, more opportunities, more dreams coming true. But let's be honest, the real motivation was money. More teams meant more matches meant more tickets, more sponsorships, more broadcasting revenue, and ultimately more money flowing into FIFA's pockets. The expectation was simple: invite smaller nations to the party, let them enjoy the experience, and then watch the traditional giants take over. When the knockout rounds begin, the minnows would provide the feel-good stories, the giants would provide the money. At least that was the plan. Then Cape Verde showed up. Playing in their first World Cup ever, the Blue Sharks opened against Spain, one of the tournament favourites and reigning European champions. On paper, it looked like a mismatch. Spain had world-class stars, Cape Verde had dreams. Yet after 90 minutes, Spain couldn't find a way through. Cape Verde held them to a stunning 0-0 draw. Many dismissed it as a fluke. Then came Uruguay. This time Cape Verde didn't just defend. They attacked. They believed. They fought. A brilliant free kick gave them the lead. And even after Uruguay turned the game around, Cape Verde refused to surrender. They equalized again, celebrated with pure joy, and walked away with another historic result. Meanwhile, Bielsa could only watch as his side moved closer to a shocking early exit. Suddenly the football world had a question. Who exactly are these guys? Cape Verde is an island nation off the coast of West Africa, with a population of just over 500,000. Their squad is built from players scattered across different countries and leagues. They don't have the resources of football superpowers. They don't have the history. They don't have the stars, but they do have belief. And now they are just one result away from reaching the knockout stage of a World Cup they had never even qualified for before. As incredible as that sounds, Cape Verde isn't alone, because another tiny nation is creating its own miracle. Curaçao, a Caribbean island with a population of around 156,000 people, the smallest nation ever to qualify for a World Cup. Their opening match looked like a disaster. Germany destroyed them 7-1. Critics immediately claimed the expanded World Cup had failed. They argued that these smaller nations simply didn't belong. Then Curaçao answered. Against Ecuador, they produced one of the defensive performances of the tournament. Goalkeeper Eloy Room delivered a masterclass, making save after save after save. By the final whistle, Curaçao had secured a remarkable draw and earned their first ever World Cup point. A nation smaller than many cities had forced the football world to pay attention. And that's where FIFA's problem begins. The expanded format doesn't just allow underdogs to participate. It gives them a genuine chance to survive. With 48 teams, more nations advance beyond the group stage than ever before. A single upset, a single draw, one heroic performance. That's often enough to keep the dream alive. The very system FIFA created to generate more revenue has opened the door for giant killers. And some giants are already feeling the consequences. Several traditional powers are suddenly under pressure. Big names are facing early elimination. Meanwhile, nations that were expected to be tourists are becoming contenders. That's not what FIFA expected. They wanted more teams. They wanted more matches. They wanted more money. What they got was chaos. Beautiful, unpredictable chaos. And honestly, that's why people love the World Cup. Because history remembers the dreamers. Costa Rica shocking the world in 2014. Morocco reaching the semi-finals in 2022. South Korea's incredible run in 2002. Croatia repeatedly defying the odds despite their small population. The World Cup has always belonged to the giants, but its greatest stories belong to the underdogs. That's why Cape Verde matters. That's why Curaçao matters. They remind us that football isn't played on spreadsheets, television contracts, or market projections. It's played on grass, by players, for dreams. So here's the irony. FIFA expanded the World Cup, hoping the giants would make them richer. Instead, they may have accidentally created the greatest stage for underdogs in football history. And every time one of these tiny nations survives another round, a bigger, richer, and more powerful football country moves one step closer to going home. For FIFA, that's a nightmare. For the rest of us, it's exactly why we watch.